everybody? It's Stephán with Under One Roof. Welcome back to the sofa with us. Got my roommate.
Chris Hollis, know what it is, man. What's
We
going
do
on?
know what it is. And this episode, we are talking about the main thing that black men do not have the opportunity to talk about out loud, and that's mental health. And it's because we weren't taught to do that. And I am so fortunate to be able to be sitting here with my brother to just crack into a conversation that we're not having out loud enough. We appreciate the efforts of how much mental health has grown more of a topic, and more black men I know are seeking the help in the best way, but there's maybe a bigger handful of them that aren't because it's still new. So, a space that we don't ever get to speak in. I think the closest place to a safe space that most straight men were introduced to, or black men were introduced to, was a barbershop. And but I think it's different for both of us. I think we could talk about different experiences in barbershop too in this episode.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think my experience in the barbershop is for sure different, fun,
Show
lot,
different
lot,
from
lot of
mine.
laughter, a lot of sex talk, a lot of
Uh-huh.
yeah. But how was your experience though?
It was all that. It just was never about me. It was always just that one common denominator of everybody in the room was pretty much straight, and they talked about women. They talked about politics. It was very educational in some sense, like hearing black men's point of view on things. But as far as like being open to speak out loud about what I believed in and the practices that um the things I practice, what I like, who I like all that stuff was just definitely put at bay because barbershops could be just mental as fuck.
For sure, judgmental, especially on that side, man. Cause when anybody gay walk past or go in, you feel me?
Oh yeah, you can
It's
speak to this.
Oh, 100%. You see it all the time. They be like, man, that gay ass nigga need to get up out. Like, it's just that's just the culture. You feel me? Not in all barbershops, but
Yeah.
it's always one or two in there that's like that, man. But I think it's just how people don't understand.
People do not understand, and it's just and it's men with the highest pride, highest testosterone. You can't tell them nothing. You know what I'm saying? It could be so intimidating against our own kind. You know what I'm saying? And so it's definitely kept me from being who I would be outside the barbershop there, even down to like what I wear when I go there. I have to think about that stuff. It's like going to church. You know,
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it's like being a totally different person when you go to the barbershop. And I know there's other queer black men or just queer men generally that like can understand and relate to that feeling of like, oh, the barbershop. But it's so essential for us because we love to be clean cut. We probably give the most money to barbers than straight niggas. Like, y'all better fucking recognize. Um, and we also be probably putting the most money for that shit too. I remember going to an Atlanta barbershop versus being at a barbershop in Cali, and they putting on full man weaves. They are trained to put on man weaves on men's head.
That's crazy. So they got the little Beijing, all that, the little
Everything.
paint on the beard.
They paint on the beard. They do all that grooming and shit. I loved the experience when I was there because they give you a full. You talk about why barbershops cost so much, why haircuts cost so much right now. That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But the shit that they charge nowadays, I'm like, I should be paying this for a full grooming session. I should be paying for, what is it? It's like $50 a cut plus now.
Yeah, shit. Not my boy. He know that. He better
you
not
get
charge
that.
me over 35. Nigga, you gonna have to get a new client. For real, but nah, they charge like 50, 60.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. So that space for me as a queer black individual is not the go-to space. But I will say that I was fortunate to have a barber I stuck with for a very very long time since I was in high school. It was say what's up to um, Rashad Porter. He, we really began a little brother big brother relationship at the barbershop, and it was all because he was like telling me things and like introducing me to things that stuff my own dad wouldn't talk to me about, like women and politics, and it was just all these other just different like topics that was just like I would always learn more from Rashad. He always make me think more. So in a way, I don't know if it was like a therapy session, but it definitely was like a mental health like learning experience, you know?
Yeah, like a mental health check-in for sure. Every
Yeah.
time you went, got a cut. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something that I'm sure is inspiring though too.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
it was inspiring
uh,
only because it was much different, but it also speaks to the point that we're making right now, and just in my experience as a queer man, I just have a better, although it's not the most out loud and comfortable space for me to be in, I've somehow know how to communicate with straight black men where I'm able to maintain a relationship with them without them feeling either intimidated or grossed out or anything about my sexuality, you know? They just
yeah,
fuck with me.
that right there, man. That's big because I think a lot of times this dynamic don't work because somebody within the relationship don't know how to just keep a neutral
Yeah.
conversation, right? It's
Mhm.
either on the straight side, like nah, you gross me out, or it's like you discussing type vibe, or it's like on your end trying to get at the dude, or
That
it's
the
yeah
fear of that, right?
yeah,
The
and
fear of
it's
that,
not, or it's
yeah.
not even knowing how to hold the conversation because you
Yeah.
got so many thoughts going through
Always
your head,
right.
thinking that the straight dude is judging you or things like that. I know sometimes
Mm.
can
That
be
can
an
come
issue.
off that way too.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was just fortunate enough to be with a barber that was mature enough with himself to fuck with me.
yeah,
But we never ever talked about it. I think even to this day, we never really talked directly about queerness, like me being gay, because my conversations with him was always surrounded around women, and then his experiences with women, my experiences with women, and we kept it just surface like that because it just felt like that's as far as we could go, and I just never felt comfortable enough to just like out loudly just be like, yo, so like this dude I was with one time, you know, and not nowhere near the way I am with you,
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
and so and I think that's because it was such a young age that I started with him, being like a little brother. Like it felt like a little brother, older brother type of relationship because I didn't have any brothers growing up, and so that was a very rich dynamic that I can, appreciate talking about out loud right now because not a lot of people are able to go to a barber shop and really trust their barber. I trust Shy. Like he always made me look clean. He always made me look good, and he always give me a good talk. There'd be some times when we go to the chair and we don't say nothing, and there'd be most times when we do talk. Sometimes we get into arguments. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
So I really do feel like I was able to practice that masculine, quote unquote, masculine side of me a lot, being in the barbershop with just my barber specifically, because not all barbers, like you said.
Oh, for sure, man. And trust a big thing with your barber, man. You gotta trust him with, you know, stuff you talking about. I know on my end sometimes you gotta some
Oh,
things you saying. It's like, man, you may be mad or something or irritated by somebody in your family. You could be your own brother or whatever, or brother, baby, mama, whatever it may be.
mm,
And it's like, because a lot of times, your barber sometimes cutting people that or you
okay,
feel me. So confidentiality, being able to trust your barber, you feel me, I think is a big thing. But
huh?
what I wanted to ask you though
Uh huh.
is therapy.
Okay.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what?
What's my experience with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't start going to therapy until I didn't go to professional therapy until I was maybe like in the past, like maybe like 3 years. I did professional therapy, which means like I actually used a licensed therapist to talk to and stuff like that. And I'm specific that way because my access to therapy wasn't easy. Like I only knew I had access to therapy through my job because of my benefits. My benefits covered therapy. Before that, I was like, okay, where do I start? How do I even source them? How do I pay for them? It was too much. So I was like,
Mm,
my therapy is talking to my girlfriends.
yeah, for sure.
Like,
How you find the right one too?
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
just it. My all my female friends, like they were let me talk to you, let me talk about this, and it was an exchange because women love to talk and women love to listen. There's very much those where there's a lot of men don't like to listen, and they get that from me when they talk to me because they don't get that often from other men in their life. And so it's a fair exchange where like when they vent, I'm all ears. I would give feedback. all this stuff, and that's important. Have you had that experience with women in a sense where they knowing them like using you to like vent to and stuff?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I got. Yeah. Right now, I got a few homegirls that
Okay.
like to do that.
Yeah, and
Um,
you actually
yeah,
engage.
yeah. Listen, get feedback, get my perspective, because that's what they really looking for too, is a male perspective. Because they got homegirls that they can go to, but
Yeah.
it's different when you just getting the same women perspective on
Mm.
a male and woman interaction.
Interaction. Uh huh.
So so I think a lot of women now are going towards men sometimes and trying to get that male perspective, and then really I know one of my homegirls, she really always asking, like, damn, am I tripping on this? Like, am I going too far? Am I
Yeah.
really irritating, or this and that? And it's like giving my perspective on how her dude may be thinking, right,
Oh,
from a
okay.
male
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Still
Right.
giving her insight,
Yep.
from a
Yep.
different side, and
Yep.
I think she sees that as valuable for sure. So
Yeah. And it's do you get an exchange from that too? You don't really vent as much, do you?
nah, in those situations, nah,
Mm.
I'm not venting. Just me personally, I'm not like a venter.
Mm.
Like my way is if I pray, you feel me? Like I pray, talk to God, but yeah, I'm not.
Is that your therapy?
Yeah, for sure. That's my therapy.
Mm.
100% working out, music, a lot of other things, writing.
Mm.
Um, those outlets that I had to evolve into. Um,
Mm.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I've been in therapy though too.
You've been in
Also,
therapy too? Okay,
yeah.
okay. But your first therapy, like for me, was like talking to my friends, speaking to,
Mm.
stuff like that. So your first therapy was basically talking, it was a God first, or would you, how
Working out, honestly,
oh, okay,
shoot,
so it was
I didn't
working
even,
out.
yeah, it wasn't
Got you.
therapy, yeah, it was working out and praying for
Okay,
sure,
okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, just
God
the,
fearing, man. Love that.
yeah, but to be honest, man, just the way I see like my family too deal with a lot of stuff was just you don't even talk about it, you just keep going.
Mm.
It's just like it is what it is.
Do you think that was healthy? Do you think
Oh
that's
no, not at all.
okay?
That's what caused a lot of sickness, disease.
Yep.
You feel me? Because I just speaking for myself, but even for people that I know, like people in the black community go through a lot, as we all know.
Right.
And it's just like that's just something that's like shit. You just put it on your back and keep moving. You
Mm.
feel me? And
Yep.
but that's why we got so much sickness and disease in our community. I feel like is because a lot of people in our community don't talk about their issues or their problems, and it's a huge stigma around it. And it's just like you just keep going. You feel
Mm.
me? Tough it out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. And it's like that shit show up in a whole lot of other ways. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
stress can kill you.
Yes, it can. It can cause cancer. It can cause
Yeah.
so many other things that's health impactful, and it just starts with those. It just starts there. It's like it's something so easy that you can try to avoid, but you just don't because there's no practice and space to learn how to do that. And I was just I there was something on the news that came on not too long ago, which was such an interesting revelation that they shared, but like something we've always known. They said that the scientists did an experiment or like some type of like case study and found that creative art is a really big um is a really big force in defeating mental stress is reliever. It's a really big stress reliever in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being creative, whether if you're going to yoga, be using your body creatively, writing poetry, using your mind creatively. Like a lot of creativeness is healing against stress, and um, I love that you said that
Yeah.
because that's one of the ways that I do that too, and never recognized that it was therapy. I just recognized it as a gift,
Yeah,
you know,
or just like an outlet
or an
release
outlet,
for you,
just to
right?
be like, I just want to like, put this out there to share a story, not knowing that I was connected to it, improving mental health
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense, like why black people so
Oh,
damn creative and so
right.
like just expressive, and
Yep.
we really lead the culture in that is because shit, to keep it a buck, nigga, we done been through the most. I don't care what
Yeah.
race, other race talking about,
Mm.
like black people done been through the most shit. You talking about generations of slavery from and then going into Jim Crow and even Reconstruction period before that. Like it's a whole lot of shit we done been through. And it's like,
literally historic. Yeah.
yeah,
And we can only really say that truthfully out of own mouths because these are our ancestors. You know, a lot of people will definitely battle us on that, on that fact.
yeah,
You know, but at the end of the day, it's our truth.
yeah. It shit, and it's like you said, it's a fact. It ain't even just our truth. It's a fact. Like,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what you think or what you want to say, like, shit, show me your ancestors that's been brutalized. You feel me?
Yep.
For shit 400 plus years
Yep.
type shit. You feel me?
Yep.
I don't know anybody else that can say that. You feel me? With all due respect.
Well, all due respect,
Yeah,
of course,
but
and everybody has their thing.
yeah,
But we are recognizing that our black culture, our ancestors before us and beyond them, have always suffered
yeah,
in a way that was very detrimental for our lives, our health,
mm,
you know, on our families, and it's been and it's generational. It's happening to this day.
come on,
It's never stopped.
and it goes down the line. If you think about how, right, my grandmother, my grandfather dealt with stress they probably got from their parents, and they
Yep.
got it from their parents.
Yep.
So it keep passing down the line until
Yep.
somebody break that curse,
Somebody got to
that
break it.
cycle. You feel me? So,
Yep. Yep.
and you only get to do that through what we experience it now, which
Right.
is this mental health push and trend and all that. But back in the 50s, 40s, and
Hmm.
all that, it wasn't none of that. So,
Yep.
you know, that's
Do you remember the first time you shut down? Or do you remember what moments for you make you shut down?
that made me shut down.
Like what are things that like you're like, fuck it. Or like I'm not dealing with this, or like, you know, I'm just going to my room, or like I'm not talking to nobody. Like do you know what those um exact triggers are for you?
Um, Man, that's a good question. Nah, not really. I think that made me shut down.
Mhm.
I try not to even give people that power over me
Mhm.
now. I say when I was little, I think it was more stuff with my parents and stuff like that. You feel me? Like my mom, my pops, and those different dynamics, and not
Mhm.
really having a stable stable structure, home structure.
Mhm.
I think that kind of I never really shut down. I
Mhm.
more so like I hate to say act out, but it was just like
Mm.
it was either I even put it into sports or
Mm.
just go do some bad shit, honestly,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
or just
Mhm.
be with people that I grew up with that all kind of experienced the same
The
family
same family
structure.
structure,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we all just was like
Do you
we don't even really think about it like as like, oh, this happened, so I'm gonna go do this. It was just
right, you
like,
never connected.
yeah, because we so young, you're not really developed. It's just like that happened. It's like only way I know how to like, fuck it. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go out here. I'm gonna shit first person. Whatever the nigga I see he smoking, I'm gonna let me hit that. Or I'm gonna
Mhm.
whatever. Like you feel me?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna
That sounds very
just
familiar.
lost.
That
Yeah.
sounds very familiar to just like how kids act out, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, like when they are disciplined by their parents or they're doing something their parents just aren't necessarily giving them the best attention for it. It's like they act out in ways that I don't know if it's resentment, retaliation
Mm-hmm.
in a way where it's just like or is it just a release in a way that's like, well, I'm still gonna do what I want because you know that didn't make me feel good. So I think that's a piece that you like you said you never really talked about, but that's important to recognize.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's hard to recognize it when you're young too. When you're 12, 13 years
Yes,
old, you don't know what's going on. You feel me? You just
right.
know that you see you like, damn, like I'm going to school. My other motherfuckers got this. I ain't got this.
Yep,
The fuck? Like I want this, so I know I can't get it from y'all.
yep,
So I'm gonna go get it by the way I can.
yep.
So stuff like that, and then you just gotta evolve into like a certain. Yeah, you just gotta go through it. Shit, life gonna teach you, and then you just hope that you one of the lucky ones
One
that
lucky
get the
one.
chance to evolve.
Yeah, I think that my the times I recognize stress or like my shutdowns is mostly related to when um it's interesting. I feel like it happens when I don't have when something doesn't work out. It's like let's just like bro, I'll tell you one thing. When I am broke, that shit be fucking me up. It don't like when you don't when that shit be hitting like negative. I mean, my account thankfully has not gone negative in a very while in a long time right now. But I remember when my shit go negative, it would literally make me not I won't go nowhere. I wouldn't want to be social, like I would want to just kind of like get cardo in and be like, I'm good. I'm like, my whole personality kind of changes because for me, I don't know why money equivalated to like having something. And like, then when you don't have nothing, you can't do nothing. It's like, it affects certain ways where it's just like, okay, I got to think about how I'm about to eat. I got to think about how I'm going to pay this bill. And all that stuff, when it becomes overwhelming, it shuts me down.
Mm.
And um, now now that my account has been healthy, I want to say it's not perfect, but it's healthy. I see a big difference. I see a different energy in me, and now it's a little bit more where I'm able to hustle harder to maintain that, to not go negative. It's like a challenge for me now. It's like, okay, in order for me to stay this happy or to stay this satisfied, stay this healthy with me mentally, I gotta make sure my account is above this amount.
Yeah. So yeah, so finances is a big thing for you. Then you would say, as far as like you, for your mental health,
My
it's
mental
like,
health, yeah.
mm,
And I think I think it's attached to a lot of things, right? It's not just about like me having money. It's like almost like having the ability to provide. Because if you don't have money, it's hard to provide the way that I would like to. Like if my sister hits me up and is like, I need help paying for this bill. Do you got it? Like as an older brother, like I want to be like, yeah, I got you. How much you need? But and my mom, if she ever needs anything, and so on and so forth. But when I'm in those situations where I don't got it, that's just stresses me out and it shuts me completely off.
man, that's a real man thing. I feel like, man, I think every man can kind of relate to that, whether they, you feel me, gay, straight, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that innate, energy in us that we want to be able to provide. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, if it's our, our spouse, or if it's like you say your sister,
Yep.
whatever it may be. I think it's something that's just ingrained in us. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
feel you on that. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
That's
big one.
that's another thing that stresses me out too, for sure.
Yeah.
If I'm broke,
Yep.
yeah.
It's not a good feeling. It really
Yeah.
isn't. So I think it's like for me and my ways though, when I can cope with it, it's through like it's funny because I think you seen me around the house when I'm not smiling, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel
So
you.
so it's like I think some of my coping mechanisms is like humor and 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 helping other people as like acts of service makes me happy. Um, so those are like ways that I feel I can, like at the top of my head right now, I can like think about like helping people makes me really happy. And being able to
Well, shit, I need.
what was you about to say?
Well, shit, I need to start letting you help me more. Then I ain't know that. I ain't know that. I ain't know active service was was
What?
something that helped that make you happy. I ain't know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I
man.
just
Like
learned that.
my love, they talk about the love languages, and love languages has a lot to do with the ways that affect your mental health. Like
Mm,
when you have, like, if you're a quality time person, and that person doesn't give you quality time, that's fucking you up. You have to find other ways to get that out. Or if that person isn't a physical touch person that doesn't like to touch you, and you like to be touched, like that shit will fuck you up if you're not getting it. So I'll always equivalate those things because that's that deep rootedness that we don't pay attention to and weren't taught to pay attention to because it didn't seem important or it seemed weak to like worry about stuff like that.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
so I'm always been. I think I pay tribute to my female attributes. My feminine attributes to where that comes from. Being around women like my mom and my sisters and my girlfriends, like they're so in tune to their feelings and I've been around that so much that it just naturally happens for me to like tune into it, talk about it, and address it. When I'm realizing with men, like my dad, I like my dad has things to say unless but you won't know until you like ask him. And I realized that with a lot of men, all men, I would say, but my experience with straight men have been different with queer men because I realized with straight men they're not used to being asked one, and then because they're not used to being asked, it's hard to put the words together to explain the feeling. Um, and then they're back at fuck it, nigga. You know, like Damo's the perfect example. I'm always asking about the nigga's feelings, and when he gets there, he says it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that it feels good.
Yeah, for sure. Because yeah, like you said, it's that part about being asked. It's like that shit is so obsolete. Like, sometimes you just like, oh, I know that, not nobody gonna ask, so I don't even need to have nothing to say about it or even think about it. I just need to push through and get through it because
Yeah.
it's not relevant. People don't care. Like that's
Mhm.
emotions and feelings is a woman thing. Women talk and vent and do those things. For men, sometimes it's just like shit. You feel that type of way. Don't nobody give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just and it's sad like that. You feel me? And even with this like mental health trend and push, like
Yep.
there is a lot of talk about like men, men healing and those things like that, but it's still some double standards almost in society. And like, you feel me? Sometimes you see a man cry, you feel me? Like, how they ripped Tyrese's ass about crying and shit, right?
Right.
So like,
And that's the shit that makes you want to crawl into a goddamn cave and never do nothing ever again. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly, right. And just yeah, it's just like y'all. A lot of times people talk about mental health, mental health, but then when there is somebody expressing themselves,
Yep.
doing what they, what y'all say that your men need to do and stop being toxic,
Mm-hmm.
but when they do it,
Yeah.
the reaction isn't.
It's not well received.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it makes you want to crawl back into a cave. It's so sad. That's why I want to give a F to cancel culture, because
Yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
real thing. When they start canceling people, the stuff they doing is like the Jonathan Majors and the stuff they did to Nate Parker, everything you think of, I feel like everybody definitely has consequences for the actions that they take, right? I just don't think that there should be any more judgment outside of the consequences that they get. You know,
Mm.
if you hit a girl, sir, do whatever you need to do to make up for that in the court of law, or whatever you need to do, then boom, that's it. Don't be canceling him out to not get jobs anymore. You know what I'm saying? To not get any type of money income coming anymore, fucking up everything like that. Like that's somebody's life.
That's what I'm saying. And motherfuckers don't even know, like, man, because if we open the closet up on you, the one that's talking, oh, we ain't gonna cancel them,
Right.
or don't listen to their music, or
Right.
don't do this and that. Like,
Right.
man, let's open your closet up, nigga.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
we ain't gonna hire you.
Right.
We ain't gonna watch
So
none of your
quick.
films. Yeah,
So quick to judge. But if you in that spotlight, nigga,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You clamping up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that brings me to like when we're here. I was like, I don't know if I've tried to pick up on cues when I know that you are okay to be approached to talk, and then when times when you're not okay to approach you to talk. You scare me sometimes. Because it's like and it could be the fact that you're just um you just have more, I guess, for lack of better words, but more testosterone than me. Sometimes your testosterone be strong as shit, and I be like, I'm about to just like back up. I'm not even gonna fuck with him. I'm not gonna fuck with him. But you do show signs sometimes, and I try to figure out what those signs are. And I know sometimes, like if your door is closed, don't bother you, and that may not be the case all the time, right?
Nah, so yeah. Nah, man.
Or
See,
like in the morning.
I try to tell people like it be man, like even to talk with dealing with women, man. Like
Mood
people,
swings.
nah,
Oh.
people try to read into me. Like, don't
Oh.
you gonna hurt
Okay.
yourself trying to
Okay.
read into a nigga like me?
Okay.
Cause just don't try to read into it. Yeah,
Mm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think for us too, like my door closed, right? Like what I'm doing right now. Nigga, I'm dealing with. I got family shit. I got school. I got
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
It's so much shit. I'm like, and then I got personal stuff and goals that I'm trying to hit. So I'm like, like if I'm like quiet, I ain't saying no on my door closed. I mean, I'm locked in 100%.
Yep.
Nigga, I'm in
Mhm.
grind mode.
Mhm.
That's all that mean.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. And when if I'm going through something though, like it's crazy. Like if I'm going through something, that's probably when I'm more talkative, if anything.
Mm.
You feel me? Because it's like, okay, I need to take my mind off some shit. You feel me? I ain't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have I done stuff that has helped in any of those ways, like where you're able to like practice letting off some steam? Like have I ever created,
Mm.
like, have I ever done anything? Is there stuff that you're like, okay, oh, Stephán does talk to me, or like he does do certain things? Like, has there been things that you kind of recognize that stand out to you? That's like, okay, I feel good about being here with him because he does this. Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, man. You know, like kicking it, little movie nights, man.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, bro. Just you shit. You know, shit
yeah,
like this. Just conversation, man. I think
yeah,
it naturally happened. You feel me?
mm-hmm,
You know, cause like I said, it's just hard for me to even express some stuff because my mom be going 100 miles
100
an
miles an
hour.
hour. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like,
So for me, it's okay because sometimes where I come from, when I get that overthinking,
mm,
as you call it, and I do believe it is overthinking, I
mm,
kind of like feel, um, I kind of feel like I just am. I need to set that fear aside
yeah,
and just be like, just say something, you know. And I think
yeah,
that that's just what that is. I think that's it's like a fear of like being turned down.
yeah. Nah, it's just and like I said, just read the room, right? If it
Hmm.
like really for me, it's just I'm just locked in
Yeah.
on shit. I'm just
Hmm.
at a point where I'm trying to get shit done. I
Yeah.
got like deadline and stuff, but
Hmm.
I think like yeah, nigga, just shit. Come through the door, nigga. Shit.
Yeah.
Say what up. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, bro, you trying to, you feel me? You trying to go over here? You trying to do this right?
Yeah.
And I tell you like, nah, nigga, I got shit to do.
Yep.
Or be
Yep.
like, oh yeah, I ain't really doing nothing.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
the
So
part.
that's
I don't
just
want to
straight.
be told no.
Nah, nigga, just
No, but
straightforward.
I
Yeah.
gotta be man. I gotta man up. I gotta just like man up.
Yeah,
Be like.
you gotta go talk. I done been rejected by so many women. Shit, nigga. I ain't.
Well, it's so funny because rejection for me, I got a chance to. Ooh, rejection is such a mental health fear. Like
Yeah,
people, people won't live just because they don't want to be
yeah,
rejected.
that shit crazy.
Like live, like literally from like I know we can't be. I know that everybody's hating on Drake right now. Okay, that's another person we should
Yeah.
give Drake a hug, okay? That's a person in there. But I was gonna say everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Mm,
It's from that song moment in life with him and Nicki Minaj, and that always takes me back to thinking like, wow, that's a really true ass bar.
mm,
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's
and that's because of like rejection is one of those things, and I'm so happy that I got to learn that early on in my life through acting, because as a kid I had to go for roles and stuff like that, and at that age when you don't get it, you're not like beat up about it. I mean, I was taught to accept to analyze it like, oh, that wasn't for me, that's it. Oh,
mm,
okay, there are people who were going for it too. It wasn't just about me. And
mm,
so it's so interesting that like that dynamic has followed, that feature of mine has followed me throughout my life.
mm,
So it's not hard for me to take rejection as much. I think that's even like seeping into like being the first to approach somebody.
mm,
I am not afraid to just go up to people. My friends will testify this to their tongue towards blues. Stephán will go up to anybody
yeah.
and just make a conversation. But in the gay community, I'm a little different
Mm, okay.
because of shit that's happened to me before, that I'm just like I'm a little traumatized from from things that I've witnessed, because there's such a like a perfectionist, an unspoken perfectionist, um 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 rule, or I may say myth, because it's who you are, it's wherever you want to make it. But growing up in the community, there's always like you have to be a certain way, or else you'll get bagged on or talked about or judged and stuff. And I think that that's just anywhere, even outside the queer community. But I always found it very fascinating. I mean, weird, excuse me, that in the gay community, judgment is so much 10 times worse than being judged by someone outside the community. And it's just, I don't know why. But for one example, I'm not sure if I ever shared this on this podcast yet. Um, but I was at a club one time, and there was this guy that came up to me and basically just like he basically touched my face, put a finger on my face, and was just like paint, and I was like paint, like what? And that was the first time I ever felt disrespected like that, and I felt so low. And they basically were saying like, he's wearing makeup or whatever. And I thought that that was so strange because I was like, well, doesn't most of us in this community wear makeup? Like, I'm like, people wear makeup all the time, you know, like, but I guess, and it's interesting because it happened at a gay spot and not a queer, I mean, not a straight spot. You think the straight places or the straight clubs or places like that
Will get on you for
will
wearing
get on me
makeup.
about that
Yeah.
stuff, right? But that just goes to show that even someone, and that person was way older than me, right? I took longer to assess that than I would with any other issue because it was so personal. It was so weird because it was within the people that in the community that I can would consider like family because we in this small community together, you know, versus us versus the world type shit. But to feel that against someone that should understand the most was just so weird in that dynamic for me. So now it's for me, it's like I handle rejection and things like that in a way where I'm just like it's not for me or it's the other person, it's not me.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. That makes sense, man. I
yeah.
mean, that's just show that you being able to evolve and really coming to like who you is for real.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that I got that in real sooner than later. How are you with like when people go to you and be like, how are you? What is your number one answer? Like,
I'm good, of course. I'm like,
mm,
cause if you're a stranger or somebody, like, yeah, if
mm,
you ask me, oh, how are you? I'm like, yeah,
I'm good.
yeah, I'm good. I'm straight. I think most people do that. That's just like a natural thing. Cause it's like if I say I'm not, like, what you really
What you
like,
gonna
yeah,
say?
like what you gonna do, like, and that's the thing too. Like I think about mental health right now, and like everybody is like, it's just so trendy. It's so like, but it's like motherfuckers need tangible shit. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
like when they talk about like these like young kids, like you feel me, middle school and high school, and it's like everybody asking them, "Oh, how you doing?" or go to therapy. Like that's people like I ain't even gonna. A lot of times that's women first thing. It's like, oh, he need to go to therapy. He need to do this. He need to do that. But it's like sometimes motherfuckers need other shit than therapy. Sometimes motherfuckers need tangible shit to change their situation.
That's
You feel what
true.
I'm saying? That's a form of
Mm,
therapy right there. Is
mm.
active solutions to problems.
Yep.
You feel me? Don't just be like thinking therapy is a solution to everything. Like shit, give niggas some. You feel me?
Go ahead and say it.
Nah, I wasn't gonna say pussy.
Oh.
I wasn't gonna say that. That helped too though. That helped too for
No,
sure.
I hope people
Some head.
understand that sex is a
Yeah.
huge stress
Oh,
reliever.
for sure,
What the hell?
for sure. But
Yeah.
on some serious shit, what I was saying was like,
Yeah.
it's like if I don't know if you feel me, if I know you going through something, right, and like how you said, your finances, right, is connected to happiness sometimes,
In
right,
a sense, yeah.
and it's like, say I know you lost your job or whatever it may be, it's like hook you up, like sending you some job interviews or connecting you with
Yes.
somebody in
Practicing it.
my
Yeah.
network,
Mm-hmm.
like give people tangible shit to change their situation
That's
because a
true.
lot of times mental health comes from like
Those other things.
yeah, it comes from like circumstances sometimes for
Yep.
people I know in the black community. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
everybody just
Mm-hmm.
want to be like, oh, these let's talk it out to these young niggas or young women. It's like nah, they not hearing none of you saying because they ask one, they hungry.
Yeah.
They as soon as this talk over, I'm about to go back home and my dad about to beat on my mom or my mom about to be on some other
You
shit.
just never know.
So you gotta change. You gotta change like real life shit circumstances.
Yep.
You feel me?
You
So
do. You
that's
do.
just something I definitely
Yeah.
wanna push and get out there because motherfuckers just be like, go to therapy, this and that. Like therapy is good
Yep.
for certain people, but when
Yep.
it comes to a certain level of stress
Yeah.
and hardship,
Yep.
you need tangible solutions
You
to
do.
problems.
Yep. And that comes from having those safe spaces and those people you can trust, you know,
Hmm.
like having like everybody got people, but not everybody got like the people that's always going to be there, you know? And I think that the people that's always going to be there are those like, I can count about like, I personally can count at least three people. It's more than that, but at least three people that I can call on to be like, you got me,
Yeah.
you know? And most of them are family, you know? And as it should be. But then there's also some of them that are friends, you know? And I think once you find that community that you can have to call on for those tangible things, I think that that's definitely the first step in addressing mental health in a way that doesn't cost you anything but your time and being able to being able to repay that in the best way that you can too. Not always be the one that you call and asking them to help me. You know what I'm saying? Like check in on them too.
Yeah, sure.
I do that with my friends all the time. For those, like, and for those who are listening, like definitely do that because it's great. I always kick myself because I want to do better at being more for other people. Um, but I have to give myself grace because I do find myself showing up more for others than they show up for me. And we've talked about this
Yeah,
before.
I see that
Yeah.
too, and just from observing you, man, I think that's the big thing is shit. That's what I'm learning myself, just showing up for myself, putting
Yeah.
myself first, cause like, so my pastor always says like, man, you gotta put the mask on yourself first before you put it on others. That's that airplane shit right there.
Yep.
They be saying like, that's a big thing, man.
Yep.
But I think you learning that though definitely gonna definitely help you for sure.
Yeah, it will. And I think that, like you said, we're practicing it here too. Like I really want to be here. I I just out loud, just I'm here for you in any way. And I think that one thing that I know that you shared is just you're not used to asking, and that you're not used to being okay to do so, to do that. But it's always an open door policy with me. Literally, my door is always open.
Yeah, yeah, nigga.
My,
Too
it be
open,
too
too
open.
much. Nigga, close that motherfucker sometime.
Listen, I be nude as fuck. Okay, nude is another part of stress relief. Okay,
This
let your
nigga.
body free. All right. So uh, as I close, I wanted to share something that I have for you. So I had the conference, the Young Black Males Conference that I
That's right.
hosted, and I did, and that was super successful. One of the ways that I'm helping with talks, making sure that talks like this live on for generations to come, is connecting our young men with people who can give them that power to do so. And so at the conference, what we did was host a workshop that was for mental health kids, and I had a organization called it was something with Rhythm of the Village and Hands of the Soil that came in, and they came in, sat the boys down in a circle, and just basically just like let them access mental health in a way they probably have never even imagined or even thought about or heard of before. And it starts there because then those men were building into soldiers of addressing mental health, or at least given the tools to do so, versus
Yeah.
us who grew up with no tools whatsoever,
Mm.
So at this event, we were wearing these jackets, as you guys can see, or for those that's watching us on YouTube, Young Black Males Conference, got our gear. And Chris actually helped me out too with the event. He offered some support that I can't say out loud because it was just
Yeah.
support, very very good. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But we got this gear. It's a beanie and a fleece jacket that just symbolizes being a young black male, educated and beyond and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if this is a size, but I got you. Maybe you should wear this on as you pursue your degree, your
For
master's
sure.
degree and stuff.
Appreciate it.
We could be twins. How you feel about wearing the same thing I'm wearing?
Oh, you come on, man. Anything with young black on it, I rock with, man. So.
No, I'm saying if there was like a twin day, would you wear it with me?
Oh, a twin day. I don't know, nigga. I probably would. I don't know. So,
Would
'cause
you?
I rock with you, man. You my nigga. So.
See, that's what's up. Y'all heard it here first,
I rock
okay?
with you.
This is some real shit. You with heel.
Something gonna be
he
different
had-
though, nigga. I'm wear different bottoms or some shoes.
It can't be jeans and
Nah,
thing.
we ain't gonna be from head to toe matching.
Why is that only for couples? Did you do that
Uh,
in relationships? Did you match with people?
Nah,
Okay, you do that. Okay,
I did that.
I look. Yeah, man. If I dated,
I would though.
Oh, you would? Okay,
I would
okay.
with my shorty. I would for sure. I
okay,
would.
yeah.
I ain't did it yet though. I ain't.
I would love to. Like, I don't think I practiced a little bit of that in my past relationship, but it was just complicated. But I would love to do that more because I think it shows unity. It shows y'all one.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
love that. I love dressing up and looking good. It's a good mental health practice. So just checking my notes here to make sure we good with everything else. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
So I love that we can. I really really like that this is just what we do on the regular anyway. And we even got to address some things that I just want to make sure that we were good on. But it just starts there, everyone. It starts there with just opening up your mouth, literally.
Yeah.
and saying something. And I feel like once that line is crossed, it can open up to so many other things of like healing, understanding, and just complete recovery that a lot of us need, especially in our community. We need a lot of recovery, especially with everything that we have going on from a plethora of things. And so, um,
Yeah, and I definitely want to. Yeah, that just to piggyback off of that, open
mm,
your mouth. Man, just for the football community,
mm,
being something I'm definitely deeply a part
yes,
of is
yes,
the LSU football player Kyron Lacy. Man, he took his own life, and I think it was
mm,
something that definitely could have been prevented if he would have
mm,
open his mouth and been able to. Cause I feel like he had a good community around him from what you see on social media, but you never know what really was
yeah.
going
You
on.
don't
But
know.
yeah, but
Wow,
definitely want to send condolences to his family,
for sure, yeah.
and then LSU football for sure. So
Yeah, and those are the worst stories to hear sometimes too, when it's just like suicide.
mm. Young black man, you feel me? 24, about to go to the NFL draft, and took his own life. You feel me? In Houston, and I mean, from the pictures, mom, he got little brothers, like they shit down there, shit I could relate to. You feel me?
Mm,
So it's like, damn.
yeah. Shout out to him, his family, and anybody else that's gone through a loss like that because of
Mm.
those circumstances. The really on at the same time in the queer community, kids as young as 13 taking their lives because of gay bashing.
Yeah,
It's just it could be it's it's literally the saddest and same end result, just coming from a different place, and but it all results to mental health, and
yeah,
and 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 we do this to each other. And it's just not worth going through that type of scrutiny and pain once that life is taken and stuff. And I really do know that like some of us have dealt with that in ways that um we've dealt with it in ways that we try our best to. I haven't personally met anybody that has gone to the lengths to do that, but I do know people who have experienced that with somebody else.
yeah,
And for me, that help for me coming from me is just being there. Hey, how can I console you? What do you need from me? And stuff like that. Because it's just it's the thing that you don't know how to even help the other person think, to get through it. So um we just want to just make sure that conversations are very much had. It's an important line to have. There are very much a lot of resources out there. Chris, I think I also sent you, if you ever
mm.
need it, I sent
A
you
link to
your
therapy.
access to
Mm.
to get therapy free through your benefits.
Mm. I'm
And
telling people nothing about my bill. I don't got no benefits, nigga. I don't even got a job.
you know
Don't
what?
ask me for nothing. DoorDash.
Talk about private. What the hell? It's a good thing. Niggas do we not be having benefits?
I
I will.
know.
I will be like, yeah, I got benefits.
I
I
shit.
would.
I did. I
Someone
wish.
gonna steal it from you?
I wish I had benefits.
Oh
I
my
don't have
God, Chris,
benefits.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm celebrating all men out there that have salary jobs and benefits like this nigga right here. We should celebrate that more because not enough of us are getting jobs out here to maintain our mental health. So, but yeah. Use that shit as ruler. You can get a black therapist, a black male
Mm.
therapist, because I used that, and I found it so helpful in the time that I did. They did not have a gay black male therapist, but they did have a black male therapist, and I
Okay.
that was good enough for me because at least I got to take the chance to acknowledge and hear things that I could relate to as a man generally. And then of course there was things that he was just learning from me as a queer black man. So like I wished I did have someone to kind of not observe me with that, but can like
Relate. Right.
relate
Mm.
and analyze and help me get through. So I think that that's the next therapist I'm looking for, is someone who identify as queer and black and as a male, just so that I can experience what that is. I'm down to experiment with different type of therapists from different backgrounds, but I need to go there first. There's no need for me to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, check out Rula. You got it, and the advice goes to everyone else out there going through anything that's related to mental health disorders or mental health crises, or just something just as simple as just not feeling good one day, right? Find those outlets, those sources, those resources, and those people to really hone into and really ask for that help. because you just never know how far it will take you. You know. This is Under One Roof, where conversations get real. I'm happy you all were able to watch us this time, and I hope that you all come back. If you have any questions or want to add something to the conversation, there's a comment box below that you can just start adding up some comments, and we'll definitely get back to you. If there's anything that we want that you would like to see more of, let us know. And until next time, this is Under One Roof with Stephán O'Shea.
Chris Hollis, know what it is.